Welcome back to Fantasy Football in 5. Our last video was our Week 2 strategy and stardom situms. This will be Week 3.
So if you haven't heard about our channel, hit the big red button below. Alright, so to start off Week 3 for the stardom situms at the quarterback position, the most important position, besides kickers, we have Carson Palmer, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, and Jameis Winston.
Now, if you look at Jameis Winston's matchup against the St. Louis Rams, now, the Rams, they did play very well against the Seahawks. However, they always play well against the Seahawks. If you look at what they did Week 1, I do not expect their defense to hold up against Winston and his passing options.
In situms, we have Andy Dalton, Kirk Cousins, Tyrod Taylor, and kind of a on-the-edge guy with Ryan Tannehill.
Now, Kirk Cousins, if you... well, actually, not Kirk Cousins. Andy Dalton, excuse me. He's going against a tough Denver Broncos defense, so expect him to... even though he's a great quarterback, AJ Green has said so, I expect him to kind of struggle against that scheme that they run. Alright, a couple stardoms at running back here. We have DeMarco Murray, Melvin Gordon, and LeGarrette Blount.
Now, Melvin Gordon is going to be the featured back in San Diego now that Danny Woodhead is out, so make sure if you have him on your bench, put him in your lineup.
And then a few sits, excuse me. We have Jeremy Langford, Eddie Lacy, and Jeremy Hill.
Now, Jeremy Hill played the Steelers last week, and he got a lot of red zone work, but did not score at all. He had very few fantasy points, and so put him on your bench again this week. Okay, so moving right along with the wide receivers, we'd like you to start these guys in Mike Evans, Stephon Diggs, Mohamed Sanu, and Victor Cruz.
Now, if you haven't seen or heard, Stephon Diggs is a beast, might I say, but he is leading the NFL in receiving yards and receptions. So start him in especially in a PPR league.
For situms, Sammy Watkins, Deshaun Jackson, Kevin White, and if he plays this week against the Eagles, Marcus Wheaton.
Now, if you haven't heard, Sammy Watkins, he's been kind of a little bit injured the past few weeks, but we expect him to get on the field this week, and we expect him to play poorly, mainly because Tyrod Taylor has had some issues at quarterback, and I do not expect Sammy Watkins to get a lot of points.
He's going up against a really tough defense in the Cardinals this week.
Alright, a couple stardoms at tight end. We have Travis Kelce, Eric Ebron, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, and Martellus Bennett.
Now, Martellus Bennett has been getting a lot of work now that Gronk has been out for the first 2 weeks. If Gronk comes back, I expect his play to be limited, and Martellus Bennett would be a great dump-off option for Jacoby Brissett in his first NFL start.
Now, a few situms at tight end. We have Greg Olsen, Kobe Fleener, and Zach Ertz.
Now, Greg Olsen is a sit? Explain.
Well, he's going up against a tough Minnesota Vikings defense, and if you look at what the Minnesota Vikings defense held the Green Bay Packers tight ends to, which was nothing. So expect Greg Olsen to have a tough time. The linebackers are great out there. I think they'll go more to the receivers than tight end.
Okay, so for some starting for defenses, we like the teams in the Cardinals, the Texans, the Giants, and how about them Cowboys?
Those Cowboys, let's talk about them. The defense has been on fire as of late, and going up against a very bad offense in Chicago Bears, and Jay Cutler may not play, so even though it wouldn't matter because he's garbage anyways.
For situms, we have the Chiefs, the Bengals, and the Green Bay Packers.
Now, the Bengals might surprise some people because their defense is one that starts normally every week, but they're going against the Broncos, and that offense has been pretty potent as of late. Alright, now for the most important position in football, the kicker. Stardoms, we have Justin Tucker, Cairo Santos, and Mike Nugent.
Now, Cairo Santos is going up against the Jets this week, and I expect the Jets defense to really limit the Chiefs, going in from the 40 and whatnot, so this is all a good reason to start Cairo Santos this week.
Now, sits at kicker, we have Steven Hauschka, Roberto Aguayo, and Matt Prater.
Now, you typically wouldn't think to sit Steven Hauschka, but last week against the Rams, he only had 1 field goal, and that's 3 points or something like that. This week he has another tough matchup, and I don't expect him to produce a whole lot of points because the Seahawks are going to score a ton of points.
Alright, now a few guys that you should consider dropping, well, you should drop,
yeah,
would be Jimmy Garoppolo, RG3, and Danny Woodhead. If you haven't heard, all those guys are injured, and Danny Woodhead is out for the season with a torn ACL.
Those poor Chargers, they're just dropping like flies.
Literally.
And for some guys you should pick up, 49ers tight end Vance McDonald, Vikings running back Jerick McKinnon, and Corey Coleman of the Browns. Alright, that was Fantasy Football in 5, and thank you for watching. We deliver our fan space in 5 minutes, so because honestly, who wouldn't want to watch a 30-minute video on this topic?
Amen.
This is our week 3 starter synonyms and strategies, so stay tuned for more and don't forget to subscribe.
Also, our fantasy team, we lost this week. However, we would have had a good chance if AP and Doug Martin wouldn't have gone out.
There's always next week.